good afternoon, everybody. I've got 15 minutes to deliver a presentation class I normally teach at Ebony Life Creative Academy in 2 hours. So um, if I'm going too fast, I apologize. All right, so do I... Okay, how many filmmakers in the house? Can I just see some hands? Filmmakers? All right, so this is especially for you if you're producing a film. The question is, if no one sees your next film, did you actually make it? Because that's the whole point, right? I'm assuming you made it for people to see it. So this quick talk is all about how you make that possible. So, next, please. So, marketing a film, just as important as making one. I talk to a lot of producers, especially young ones, and this is the thing I always stress, is that you want to, first of all, get enough screen time, you want to make a return on your investment, build a following, you want to make enough, hopefully, to finance the next film so that you're not begging everybody as you're doing now, right? In the end, you really want to make some money. Next slide. So where does it begin? A lot of people I talk to, they ask me to consult, help them market the film, and they say, the film's made, it's about to go, it's being released in 4 weeks, and I usually say, I can't help you because it's too late. Whatever's done is done. You can do some social media, you can do whatever, but it's done. So your marketing actually starts before you make the film. From the time you start with the concept, you're trying to figure out who am I targeting as an audience, potentially who would watch this film that I'm looking at the script, should I make it, who should the cast be, will the cast appeal to this audience, and so on and so forth. So that's what you're doing all the time. You're thinking about your product placement, which is part of how you're going to make that viable. So you're looking in the script, is someone using a phone, is someone using a laptop, is someone visiting the bank? What are those brands going to be? How can I make sure that I have some commercial agreements in place, right? So that's all part of it. Next, please. So when does it begin? It begins, so I don't know if you can't really see this particular, it's from the Hollywood Reporter, it's an article, and it's announcing that Will Packer and Ebony Life had nabbed the rights to this article about Hush Puppy. You guys remember Hush Puppy? Right. So this article, I think, is from 2021. That's when the announcement was made. The film hasn't been made yet. It might come out in 2025 or 2026. So when I say to you, when does the marketing begin? For this film that is yet to come, the marketing started in 2021. Acquisition of the rights for the story was the beginning of it. So that's when you start, when you have your script, or when you get the lead cast, or you get the director, and you keep on making all these announcements. This is happening, that's about to happen, this is happening next. And all you're doing all the time is you're trying to create anticipation for your film. Not when the trailer comes out, where hope I just showed you the trailer. What did you show them before the trailer? And before that, and before that. That's what I'm talking about. So it's not, the trailer is very late in the game when everyone's finally seeing what's about to hit the screen that they've been anticipating for the last year or two. So that's how you do it. Okay, so starting so early, not only creating the anticipation, but for a lot of you, you want to warn other producers that might have the same idea. Usually when you have a great idea, you think you're on your own. Do you think that when Mo Budu and Will Packer were trying to get the Hush Puppy story, do you think they were the only ones? They were actually bidding against somebody, and I was in the background helping them to write a letter to kind of get the studio to go in their favor, right? So you think you're alone, you're never alone. Oh, this is a great idea about this. I'm sure this movie you're about to bring up, with The Fake Life, A lot of people have had an idea about that, right? So you want to bring out everything you can as early as possible that someone goes, someone's already thought about that. Let them move to the next idea while you move on with yours. If you don't have a lot of money to market, the less money you have, the earlier you start. The more money you have, you can afford to be relaxed. You can make $1 million trailer, you can do $1 million premiere, and so on and so forth. If you don't have any money, start early. Next slide, please. Take the audience behind the scenes. Big part of your marketing is to show people how the film is being made. You will see the best Hollywood films. We don't do it so much here in Nollywood. I know a few people do it. Is you're showing people the stars, having their makeup done, talking about the film. Someone is saying, "Oh, I love working with this director. I love working with this actor." Someone else is saying, "Oh, there's some incredible special effects we're doing. There's some incredible stunts we're doing," and you're seeing just little things here and there that's telling you how the film is being made and why you should be excited about it. Right? So you're doing everything, the trivia, the film photography. When you're shooting your film, there should always be another crew shooting the shooting of the film. Okay? So don't just shoot the film, shoot the shooting of the film, photograph everything, record everything, because you can also make your own film about the making of the film. And that in itself is marketing. Next. The details matter. So I had the privilege of working really just, I think, 3 years, 2016 to 2018, on marketing films. But during that time, able to market Wedding Party 2, Chief Daddy, Your Excellency, Olature. I think three out of all of those were number 1, number 2, number 3 highest grossing in Nollywood of all time at the time. You know it's moved on now, but that was the story at the time. I really obsess over, I usually have no control over the title, but the logo, the tagline, everything else, I try to have control of to influence as much as possible. Tagline is something that Hollywood movies, very rarely does anyone talk about that. Very few people actually try to write a good one. I saw a good one the other day. I'm trying to remember now. But I always take notice when there's a really good tagline on an Hollywood film because it's so rare. I got inspired years ago by this film. Anybody remember the tagline for this film? In space, no one can hear you scream. Still gives me a chill now. And I always have aspired to try to write taglines as good as that one. Your graphic design has to be excellent, your photography. Nollywood's come a long way. The posters are looking better, the photography is better. Some people still don't get it. They still grab scenes from the film, put everybody together. You'll see a lot of posters. You'll just see a bunch of people letting you know we have all these stars in the film. The comedy film looks the same as the thriller, looks the same as the action movie, looks the same as the rom-com. And they're all completely different. I didn't know any of this. The first time I had to do any of this, I studied. I think when I did the first rom-com, Royal Hibiscus Hotel, I studied, I think, the top 50 or top 100 best rom-com posters in Hollywood to try to figure out what was the formula, because every single piece of material has a formula. And so that's what I did. That's what I studied. Okay, let's move. Okay, make your best trailer possible. If possible, make more than one. If you're appealing to different audiences, make different trailers. We had a conversation just during lunch. I said, I saw your trailer, I didn't understand it. Said it was made for Gen Z. I said, well, you need one for me, so I can come and see the film as well. And he said he has another one. I said, please, send it to me, release it. So they're going to do 2 trailers. That's important. And if you have to make 3, some films, they'll make 4, right? Just keep giving you a better and better one. In Hollywood, by the way, the people who make the trailer have nothing to do with making the film most of the time. They're people who just know how to make trailers. Sometimes the trailer is better than the movie, right? All right. Yeah, so that happens. So use an expert editor, script your trailer, write the trailer like it's a movie. What's the story, beginning to end, so that you can figure out how you're telling the story of the story so that people can anticipate it. Use a great voiceover. You know the voiceover that tells you about the film, right? So you have to use a great voiceover, great music. Quite often the music is not even in the film. Doesn't matter. The sound effects that you see on the trailer are not in the film. And you test it over and over. So you say the trailer is for Gen Z. Did you test it with a group of Gen Zs? Thank you. There was one for me. Did you test it with people like me? Or you didn't? Yeah, but test it. The point is test it with everybody. Test your trailer just like you test the film. All right, make the best possible poster. That was the poster we made for the Royal Hibiscus Hotel. There have been a lot of romantic films in Nollywood since. That was 2018. Have you seen a better one than this yet? Which one? Tell me. So if you say yes, which one? Okay. The point is, we studied how to make this thing to create something, and we created this specially, by the way, because it was going to TIFF. It was going to the Toronto International Film Festival, and we wanted it to appeal to that market, not necessarily to a Nollywood market. And so that's the other thing, is sometimes you have to create more than one poster. For this film, I think we created 4, maybe 5. 4 actually, and we kept moving that along. So make it consistent with your strategy, make it memorable, and think ahead to multiple formats. So you think ahead not just to this format. Are you going to have billboards, which are a completely different shape? Are you going to have things on phones? How is it going to show up in different places? What's your standee going to look like? So you're photographing and you're thinking all of those things ahead of time. You can see the one on the left. That was actually made for a Nigerian audience, because now we wanted to show, we know this one, we know that one, we know him, we know her, we like her, right? So you can see the difference. So we would not have done that in Toronto. That one was specifically for this audience. And then we also looked at different ways of getting the story captured in lots of different ways. The Hibiscus Hotel, the Hibiscuses, the hotel, everything. You guys see how different it looks. It will appeal to different audiences, and that's what we did. Next slide. And we did still more. So that was the Nollywood version of the last one. You saw the cast in the background, because we know him, we know her, we like him, we like her, and so on. And then the last one, which never got released because it didn't test that well when we tested it with audiences. Okay. Did I make the point, though, about make a good poster for your film? Okay. So, plan your social media campaign. I won't go into this a lot because you guys know all about social media. You can find someone smart who can plan a social media campaign for you. But what I will say to you is try to make sure you have someone who's really good, not your cousin's friend. Okay? Get someone who actually has a track record in delivering the numbers for a consumer product or something, even if they're not film experienced, who actually understands the audience you're aiming for. And then you make sure that you have, if possible, let your cast sign up in their contracts that they are duty-bound to promote your film. They will post so many things a week. They will do this, they will do that. Because when you come to do it, they will tell you, I'm making another film, I'm really busy, I can't do it. So don't think they will do it. Make sure it's in the contract. Build a library of content, all your photographs, all your films, all your film clips, everything you were doing behind the scenes, this will now become your social media content, right? And you find different ways of doing it. Memes, posters, giveaways, etc. And make sure you're tracking all of the numbers that you see that Barbie did. Right. Produce great in cinema. Don't forget that. In the weeks leading up to your release, you want people walking into a cinema to see something else. Will see a great standee for your film. The bigger the standee, the bigger the film. That's what people think. That's the impression people get. So make sure your standee, in this case, I'm showing you a 3D type thing where people could actually climb in and take pictures with the cast. You can do all kinds of different things with your standee. But it's just remember that for everybody you're targeting with social media and everything, those people are out there somewhere. Your biggest audience are the people who are already going to the cinema. So don't forget to target them, because walking to the cinema, they're looking, 3 weeks' time, that movie's coming out. But they're already thinking, we're going to see that one. Okay. Have a premiere. Always have a premiere. First thing everybody says is, we don't have the money, right? Do you have the money for a premiere? Always. You always have a premiere. A premiere can be a big bash that someone has, but most of the Hollywood premieres that you've ever seen are not as big as a Nigerian premiere. Think they are, but they're not. Because in the end, they show the film and the cast stands in front of a nice backdrop, and around the world it goes, they had the premiere of the film. You thought it was a big star-studded bash with hundreds of people. Never usually is. So always have a premiere. Friends, family, cast, crew, everybody, get them together, because the most important thing from your premiere is the pictures that you send around Nigeria, around West Africa, around the world, that your movie's out. So always do it. Next. Focus on your opening weekend or your opening week. This is the thing that, where's Moses? Is he still here? Okay, so with the wedding party, Film One, Evelyn and I, when we were doing that, we were the first people to actually do this thing, which is to release the numbers. Prior to that, Nigerians don't want you to know how much money they're making. So nobody said anything. And we said, no, we're going to announce it. And as we were breaking the records, we were announcing X million naira. We ended up with 430-something million. No movie before had done more than 200 million. So we were very proud to keep announcing that. And so now it's become a trend. As you know, everybody knows about the billion naira movie, right? Right. And no one was shy, but we had to break that whole stigma around releasing your numbers. And you just keep going from opening weekend all the way through. Usually there's a trend, you open big and it goes down from there. But we've seen movies. I think King of Boys was one. There's been a few others. Open small, word of mouth. So that's why you have to keep going, because you never know. And then it just got bigger and bigger. There's a movie right now in the cinema. Who sees It Ends With Us? Blake Lively. Anybody seen that? It started small, going up. So you keep going. I'm getting a signal that I shouldn't keep going. So I'm going to stop. Thank you very much.